Welcome to the Voice of Retail. I'm your host, Michael LeBlanc. This podcast is brought to you in conjunction with Retail Council of Canada. Makhlouf, Vice President of Digital Solutions at ThinkMax Consulting, leverages his decades of hands-on experience developing and refining digital strategies for retailers. Focusing on their needs, priorities, and pre-existing digital ecosystems, Kais helps retailers navigate the ever-evolving digital landscape. Today on The Voice of Retail, Kais lets us into his world of digital strategy development. We talk about Kai's experience in the industry, changing trends and impacts of the pandemic. Lastly, Kai shares his pointers on creating resilient digital strategies, what to learn from the past, and how to prepare for the future.
Capabilities, technologies enabling today that retailers need to leverage quick so they can improve the experience to the customer and make them more loyal and build on that. So that's what we see the most important with the retailer in general. To your point about cybersecurity, it's kind of, I should say, the elephant in the room, but
let's listen in now. Guys, welcome to the Voice Retail Podcast. How are you doing this afternoon?
Great. Thank you, Michael. Pleasure to be on this podcast.
Yeah, nice to hear your voice. Where am I reaching you? Are you in, I think you're in Montreal, yeah?
Correct. I'm in Montreal today.
Fantastic. I miss Montreal. I'm looking forward to getting back. It's been probably one of the longest times in my entire life that I haven't been to Montreal. So I really miss the city and I miss the people. So this is the next best thing. So it's great to have the opportunity to chit and chat with you. Well, listen, let's jump right in. Tell me a bit about yourself, your background. I mean, looking at your profile, your LinkedIn profile, you've been in technology, looks like for most of your career, some great names, and tell me what you do and what you do at ThinkMax.
Sure. I kind of tell people I'm a digital native.
Yeah.
So I started my career basically in a digital agency world, implementing digital experiences, digital e-commerce. 10 years working in that capacity to more a product company where we wanted to create a first kind of e-commerce platform for in the cloud. It's platform as a service. And that's where I kind of met the ThinkMax people, partners, and joined them in 2015 to basically bring to the market and to the retailers and some CPG companies a solution that unifies their channels and commerce operations and meet more the new customers' digital behaviors and needs in terms of omni-channel and unified commerce. So that's been my background, basically working with large brands, large retailers, and implementing digital solutions in the past, I should say, 15, 20 years.
Now, as your role is as the Vice President of Digital Solutions, tell me what that encompasses. What do you when you get up in the morning and you got a cup of coffee in front of you, what do you do during the day? Is it obviously thought leadership, because that's why we have the chance to talk today, but how do you implement that? Do you go, do you do some biz dev as well, or is it implementation? How do you spend your time?
It's a bit, I help the sales team here at ThinkMax, but also most of my time is spent with existing clients, helping them in defining their digital strategy, their roadmap, prioritization based on their current context, their status, their technology ecosystem, and how we could basically together help them get to the business objectives they are aiming for at the fastest possible. So It varies from a client to another, of course. At ThinkMax, we work with small, medium, and large organizations in the retail industry. So it's quite compelling. It's a learning mode every day. We learn from the client, we learn from their customers, and we learn from our own people and the technology solutions that we see on a regular basis.
And tell me all about ThinkMax, scope of the business, where you operate, the type of clients you operate with, and a bit of scope and scale, and where what makes you different? Why do people and retailers choose to work with you?
Absolutely. So ThinkMax was founded in 2009, basically to help retailers, manufacturers, and distributor wholesalers to implement ERP and business applications. It started with 4 ex-Deloitte partners to spin off like the digital. I should say more the Microsoft Dynamics ERP solutions, and it's been growing successfully for the past decade. I should say. And after in 2015-16, when I connected with the team, ThinkMax was very successful implementing, as I said, the ERP system for retailers and manufacturers. But it was missing something for them. A lot of the clients were asking, you guys are great implementing our business applications, but now the online and the e-commerce part is becoming, or even the point of sale is becoming very important. How you could help us? And at that time, ThinkMax went out and tried to find solution partners to help the client. But at a certain point, and when we met, we kind of aligned on the fact that there was a gap in the market. There was really an issue with the market in terms of technology solutions and vendors where there was no solution that brought the business application of retail operations with that front-end experience and customer experience in e-commerce. So that's where we said we need to develop a practice around e-commerce and digital to help our existing client and future client in providing them with that unified view, that vision of unified commerce. And that this touches retailers, but also manufacturers and that are going direct or through a B2B platform.
Now, you mentioned Microsoft Dynamics. Are you part of the Microsoft ecosystem exclusively? So if we turn to you, those are the solutions that you're going to offer, or are you agnostic, or how do you play? How do we understand you?
We play mostly in the Microsoft ecosystem. We could say that we are quite exclusive on that front. We appreciate a lot what Microsoft has been doing in the retail, specifically from in terms of their solution, and it's driven a lot by the Azure cloud infrastructure today, like for retailers or other kind of businesses. The cloud and the infrastructure are key for scalability, for reliability, for security, which is becoming a tremendous risk, I should say, for many companies. So having that ecosystem and having platforms and applications that run in that infrastructure is a game changer.
It's funny, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say, I've heard from retailers and it's a game changer. The cloud-based Azure, it allows you to do things you never imagined or never, would certainly never have the budget to stretch to do. So, all right.
It's a very good point because I remember in 2000 when digital solutions and ideas are coming, it's a lot of the ideas and marketers have all the good ideas, but there was limitation and constraints in terms of implementing them and the infrastructure that supports these ideas. So since now 5-10 years, the cloud is enabling all these ideas. And when we talk about personalization, when we talk about AI, when we talk about analytics, all of those are more and more becoming kind of a commodity to all companies, small, medium, large, thanks to the cloud, because you put an application there and you can leverage the whole infrastructure, basically.
Yeah, more horsepower than we could ever have imagined. Last question about the business, just so we understand context and the listeners understand. The size of the organizations, you talked about small, medium, and large. Like where does it fit best? Where do you find the best fit in terms of, I don't know how many stores they have or sales? I mean, there is a certain scale that you probably work best at. What about that size? What size is optimal for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So ThinkMax today, we operate on a North American geography or scale. We are about 150 and with the 50 partners, and we have a capacity of about 200 people across North America. In terms of who we work with, it's really, we aim in terms of size of retail. If you go by store size, like maybe 25, 50 minimum. stores, because it's really how the Microsoft platform fits
Right.
that model, the Dynamics 365. So that's the minimal kind of size we aim for. We work sometimes with some new models, or like we call them e-tailers, that are pure online. They have no retail stores, but they start adding stores. We work with a customer in the States, Gardner Supply. They basically, it's a catalog business legacy, but they're moving most of the business is online today, but they're also opening stores, right? So
store. It's funny. I know they didn't get the note that stores were out of fashion. All these .com brands that are turning to stores for growth.
Yes.
Let's talk about, and this is not a history lesson, this isn't a history podcast, but let's talk about the past 18, 20 months of the COVID era. And I'm curious because you guys have been in the mix, I'm sure taking calls, both from existing clients and new ones, just trying to adjust and adapt. And I wanted to understand what priorities your clients had during the COVID era. And later in our discussion, we'll talk about the future, but what were the priorities? What were people working on? And how did you help the industry kind of get through? What were those calls like? And and how did your projects kind of change or adapt over the past couple of years?
Very interesting period, I think, or history period. I'm sure a lot of movies, documentary will cover that. These past 20 months, I think. It went, I should say, through various status, or various from we're going to shut down everything and wait what's going to happen, and maybe next week everybody's going to come back, and we business as usual, to okay, this is going to stay forever, and we need to adjust our systems. We need to be able to give access to our people in a remote way, secure way. We need to think about new ways of fulfilling from logistic perspective, and fulfillment and delivery,
like curbside, that kind of thing, right?
Curbside, pickup, etc. And recently, more and more, we are talking about the touchless store. So it's been quite something in terms of all the ideas. To some ideas, like 2 years ago, if you talk to my mother or to They never thought about one day doing some video conferencing. Now retailers are doing video conferencing with their customers to help them choose a product. It shows you all the ideas and all the acceleration that's happening through technology for retailers.
Let's talk about that for a bit. I'm kind of curious. We almost forget that we look back and the sudden jarring change of, okay, everybody suddenly go home. And I've talked to other folks from the Microsoft Dynamics team about how they were able to pivot, because basically they were ready for that challenge. They were kind of built for that challenge, right? We can suddenly get all your people working at home safely. How have you changed the way you've worked in terms of working with the clients? I mean, I'd imagine in the before time, it was a lot of in-person visits, a lot of on-site work. Are you finding that your retail clients are not just amenable, but finding it more productive? Or how are you finding that balance as an organization? And I'm asking this because I think we're all trying to figure out what's the right balance of working with vendors, being in front of clients, and how are you finding that balance?
The toughest part, I think, is that there is no generic or a standard way to look at it. Every customer, every employee is in a different context. And that took us some time to realize that, because like you asked the question, we were thinking, what is the best model? How a retailer or customer are asking us to do? And it's funny enough, every organization was asking, or every client was asking different ways. Some they are completely remote. Others wanted to go back as fast as possible. Others are hybrid. And same thing with our people, our teams. Some of them wanted to continue working remotely. They appreciate working from home. They saw the productivities. Others, no, they missed the office and being with other. So that's the common thread. It's like every organization, every people, and comes back to that, to the retail personalization. If you start generalizing and things, you miss kind of the boat a little bit. So we are trying to be as flexible, as understandable as possible, and it's causing some challenges, but at the same time, I think it's helping us, helping clients.
So if you reflect back on the time, and again, not a history lesson, but what kind of 3 lessons would you take away from working with clients and from listening to them and helping them solve problems or address opportunities in some ways? What would those top things your organization and you learned over the past 18, 20 months?
It's not new. It's adapt to change, be flexible. Those are the key. Because the most important thing for our clients is to take care of our people, especially through this period. It's still actually challenging to understand every person needs and every person situation and help, bring help. Clients are not different. We treat them as part of the team, and they have their own challenges with their own people and teams. There's new opportunity that now they used to hire locally, of course, by nature. Now we are hiring people from all over North America. And working remote, we have the tools. That's something that's been there for a while. We always been having the technology and the tools to work in a remote way. So that never has been an issue for us. It's
never been about the tools, right? I mean, it's not about the tools. Tell me about, we've been talking about the people, which is great discussion, but tell me about the business ideas about business. I mean, you mentioned agility. I have to think, given that we've learned the lesson that it's very difficult to anticipate what's coming next, and agility is very important. Again, from a business perspective, were there clients who said, we were kind of on the fence about whether we were going to do these things, whether we really needed to do CRM and integrate it? Did you see and that's again culture as much as anything, but did you see a sea change with your clients, and talk about that for a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the change, there was the reactivity to what's happening everywhere, and how governments were kind of controlling or the pandemic and things like that. But overall, especially in technology and digital, the shift is tremendous. It's a seismic kind of impact that it's been for these retailers or organization in general. In the past, I think I don't want to say rarely, but rarely I should say a board would be interested of knowing and understanding what is an e-commerce platform will do for them, right? Right now, it's every C-level, every board will know probably what technology solution is being implemented and when it's going to go live and what the impact of such or such solution. The acceleration of that is incredible, and this is good because that's what I think the retail industry was lacking in a sense. It's a shockwave to kind of realize what technology could bring and how consumers that were changing now, how the change happened, and what was expected to happen in 5-10 years, it happened in 20 months, 10 months or 20 months.
Do you find that you went in some instances from being an evangelist to just everybody's nodding and everybody's like, yeah, you're right, let's go. Like there's a little bit less evangelizing around the future of integrated digital, and it's more, yep, let's do it. Did you find a transition there?
So true. I mean, it's, but I'm still sometimes surprised how some players or retailers still lagging. And what you see the most today, it's like the ones that were leading, they're leading even more because they were ready and they leveraged their technology through the past 20 months, let's say, and they continue to evolve. It's like it's showing, look, what we've done or what we've been preparing for is now working incredibly. And you see the others that didn't have let's say, that digital maturity or the vision or the people or the financial background to support innovation, to support change, are going to suffer even more. And those are that's the difficulty that we've been seeing. But in terms of, yes, they want, and now it's, any e-commerce project needs to roll out as fast as possible.
How fast? Not how much, not why, but how fast. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because retailers with large physical assets versus a digitally native vertical brand, you have a lot of your capital assets and value tied up in physical assets. So I guess that transition must be taken with great care, right? Because what makes you great is this this blurring of the lines, right? This integration. So it's a nice transition to talking about the future now. Let's talk about 2022 and beyond. And we're in late 2021. We were looking forward to pretty much, hopefully, the end of the COVID era, at least the intensity of the COVID era, hopefully. And what are you hearing in terms of priorities? I'm hearing things like cybersecurity is a top priority. I'm thinking about scalability. I'm thinking about I'm trying to understand new customer behaviors. But you tell me, when you meet with your existing and prospective clients, what are they asking you for, and what kind of projects are you looking to do for them to take them forward?
In the retail sector specifically, it's really the most important thing for them is to be able to leverage the online channel and to have what we can call a digital experience platform. So within the Microsoft ecosystem, we leverage a platform called Optimizely that is able to not just do e-commerce, but also manage content online, experiences, personalization, experimentation. So it's a platform that complements that Dynamics business application backend systems. And for them, it's basically what I was saying in the beginning, the gap between, okay, we have our retail operation running. Now we want to tie that to our front end or to our touch points, being in the store, being in the online web, etc. The most important thing I see is really to the speed of acquiring and enabling these technologies. Like today, you still I'm still surprised, like you go to any retailers and there are certain experiences or certain expectations that are not met. The experience you kind of benchmark to or compare to, if you're an Amazon Prime, like I want same day or a 24 hours delivery. That there's not many retailers are able to do that today. I want to go to a store and I want I don't want to use. I want to use my mobile to pay, for example. All of these small capabilities, technologies enabling today that a retailer need to leverage quick so they can improve the experience to the customer and make them more loyal and build on that. So that's what we see the most important with the retailer in general. To your point about cybersecurity, it's kind of I should say the elephant in the room, but in our case, leveraging the Azure cloud kind of answers a lot of these questions in terms of security, reliability, scalability. It's less an issue, but it's still it's something very important to make sure you have the fraud detection tools you need on your e-commerce platform and things like that.
So talk about that for a little bit. So moving to the Azure cloud, does that inoculate you? We're all familiar with these terms like a vaccine, but does that inoculate you from the ransomware attacks that were here? I was talking to someone today and they were saying they were under attack from ransomware and the ransomware perpetrators were actually providing references. So it's a big problem. Now, is moving to the cloud, is that a one and done, I won't call it solution, but minimization of that particular problem? Or talk about that for a little bit.
It's a big minimization. It's, for me, resistance is futile. it's been proven. It will minimize it like the vaccine. And I know they are giving some percentages. Yeah. I should say it's the Pfizer type of inoculation, if you want to say so. Yeah. But still, there are some other aspects that you could be in the cloud. But in terms of ransom, could be ransomware. I mean, it could be a good answer because then if you're in the cloud, you have your backups. You have the impact would be much more smaller than if you're not in the cloud.
And I imagine you've got hundreds, if not thousands, of people working from Microsoft just on keeping that secure. So I'm sure there's an army of very skilled people kind of on your side behind the scenes. All right. Well, listen, this is a good discussion. I mean, when you think about, let's sum it up. When you think about the conversations you're having, the experience you've had, what are your top kind of 3 pieces of advice for retailers who are listening to this interview and in my audience around how they should be thinking about technology and the future? And I'm not talking the future as like in years, because the future is with us now. We got to figure this out now. For some, they've gone through just waves of incredible demand. For others, they're looking to bounce back from anything from limitations to a shortage of demand. So I think 2022 is going to be a very interesting year. What are your 3 pieces of advice that they should be thinking about when they get up in the morning around technology?
I think the first thing is how you will rise to the challenge of this great acceleration that is happening in the digital and the consumption of digital, and how I'm going to offer my customers the experience they are asking for. Because put yourself in the customer shoes and see what experience he's expecting. It's not difficult to understand. I want to know information about the product. I want to know if you have it. I want to order it right away. I want to get it. So a lot of these asks are very easy, and you can think about few examples like the Amazon Prime, the Apple experience in store. So you can start and see how I can meet that experience and so I can leverage the acceleration of that channel. Then you need to be able to understand what are the key differentiators, so we can compete against the abundantly capitalized mega platforms of this world, the Amazon, the Costco, the Walmart. How you are going to compete? What's our key differentiator? Because that's going to happen. It's 80% of top 25 U.S. retailers controls 80% of the overall business, kind of something like that. So they are there, and you need to realize. Then it's all about experience, and building loyalty with the customer. That's going to be very important. Technology is there. How I have the right people, the maturity to face that and deliver on that. So thinking of vision to leverage acceleration through technology, having the right people to achieve that, and 3 is making sure that I have the key differentiators to face the big players.
Right on. Well, I'm a retailer, so I'll add a bonus. Find the right group of people and thought leaders like yourself to help them get there, right? Find the right partners, whatever that looks like. So listen, lots of experience you bring to bear, your organization. Where can listeners go to learn more and perhaps get in touch?
thinkmax.com is the place to go, and we'll be very happy to engage and interact and give you more thought on your digital journey.
Well, listen, guys, it was great discussion. I can't think of a more interesting time. I mean, I think back to the late 90s. There was so much change, but so little capability in some days. But now you've got this tremendous power. You've got tremendous change all coming together. So very interesting, very exciting time for all of us. So thanks so much for joining me on the Voice of Retail podcast. It was a real treat, and I wish you and ThinkMax continued success.
Thank you, Michael. Have a nice day.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of The Voice of Retail. Be sure and follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy podcasts so you don't miss out on the latest episodes, industry news, and insights. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a rating review, as it really helps us grow so that we continue to get amazing guests onto the show. I'm your host, Michael LeBlanc, president of Emmy LeBlanc Company, Inc., And if you're looking for more content or want to chat, follow me on LinkedIn or visit my website at meleblanc.co. Until next time, stay safe, have a great week.